Yep, we're live. Hey, YouTube. Um, 1 second, I just realized something. Yeah, sweet. I have the live stream pulled up on my computer. So, I'll see your live comments appear there. But we need to look at this for a second. So, so first, this is my old computer. That's my new computer on the left. So let's, I want to show you guys anybody remember this background? These desktop icons and things and stuff for one of my really old computers. I do I? Yeah, I wasn't planning on this, but why not? This. Let me go back to this. By the way, that was September 23rd, 2013, 8 years ago. So, this right here, dead. I might be able to resurrect it. It's an old Compaq laptop. Yeah, Presario CQ62. Man, this laptop. Ooh, memories. This is something that I got from an uncle at so this was, when was my how I edit my videos video? 2013. So maybe 2012. I had gone on maybe a little before that, but I went to a family reunion in Texas, and while I was there, my uncle said to me, because I was playing a game with cousins on this. We were playing Artemis, the Star Trek simulator. So I was playing a game, and he said, "If you like it, you can have it." That sounded a little creepy to me at first, but when I thought about it and I realized what he was saying is, they don't need it, I can have it, I'm like, yes, I will take it. I actually edited a little game on the plane ride home. A lot of stuff I don't know if I still have. Actually, I probably do, because the reason I'm showing this is, so this was my computer right here. When I got it it's the one I got for $500 that I've talked about. So it had 8 gigs of RAM, GTX 650 Ti, Core i5 3570K. I forget what kind of motherboard. I don't remember if it has a hard drive or an SSD. Had a hard drive or an SSD in there. I don't remember. Now so the reason I'm bringing up this laptop is, while I was away, this computer had some problems, and so did my external hard drives and other things. There's a small chance that I'll be able to recover stuff from those and finish some of the projects I was working on. I don't know at this point yet, but that's something that I'm kind of working on in the background. And so hopefully I'll be able to recover, because there's some projects that I was working on that I do want to finish that were cool. Otherwise, yeah, it's, So once the family stuff was finally finishing up, and I was gonna be, and I was finally, like, I wanted to use a more modern, up-to-date system, and there weren't, it just wasn't the crazy landscape that was going on, and I could finally think about spending some of my money on a newer computer, getting a hard drive for mine, buying an OS, or, whatever. Basically, since things had died down, I got the hard drive from this, because I had done a recovery on that using a different computer. I was about to pan the camera over, but you guys won't be able to see it because it's under a pile of stuff. But there's a different, older computer. But so then I said, I just want something more modern than the Windows XP laptop that I've been using, that You know, everyone was like, yeah, sure, fine, go ahead and use that old laptop. You didn't spend any money on it. And so I took the hard drive out of this, which has Windows 7 on it, put it in this thing. It ran slow and really, it was just slow, not very good. Connection speeds weren't great. But I think part of that actually might be with the new computer. Right now I'm running off of Wi-Fi. Wow, is that? Oh yeah. So if you look right in between those two computers, that little thing hanging down by the USB right back in there, that's the Wi-Fi dongle that I got with my computer. I've wanted to go wired with this just because it's better, more reliable. The Wi-Fi's actually been pretty good, but trying to plug in wired hasn't worked, and something weird. Um, it like will. Oh, nope, I'm not connecting. Oh, trying. No, I'm not. So we took a look. There was some blinking lights downstairs. My dad. There's two ways of wiring up an Ethernet thing. There's A and B, and so we're suspicious now that my room was wired for B, and he's wired everything up and made it look nice and neat for A. So we're gonna try switching the wires in my plug at some point in my wall, see if wiring works. And this is only temporary. I'm in my room right now, but I need to get out of here. I'm not showing you this right now, but it is a crowded mess in here. I'll at some point you guys will get a peek of that as I move stuff out and do videos on setting up my studio. But so the weird thing is, I'm wondering if somehow this something to do either with the old hardware, the motherboard, maybe the old operating system. Somehow this got internet on the wired connection when this one doesn't, and that's weird that the wires are wired differently and it somehow did it. That's a funny thing that I might go ask online because I'm just curious why. But yeah, so at this video I'm not going to be pulling out my old new computer and showing the behind side of it because everything's plugged in and working right now. But one thing I want to show really quickly is I do have this plugged in, not to a monitor, just to that. So you can see, let's tilt the camera down just a bit. There are two blue lights on, which I'm going to, first of all, turn that off. Let's see how, okay. There's still sunlight coming in, so you can, actually let me, just close my curtain, make it as dark as possible so that we can see the lights. The new computer has more light, obviously, because the fan, but let me just put my new computer to sleep really quickly so I can show you something. So, you can see now the blinking power LED, especially at night. That power LED gets pretty bright, and I can see it shining on stuff in the room. My old computer does look a little bit nicer with the way they have the lights up front. I think it looks cool, but it was actually kind of annoying using it because when the power's off, it would blink. I once looked at a setting in the motherboard where it will, or in the BIOS, where it's like, oh, this, I forget what it was called, but it sounded like it would make it change colors whenever there was, whenever it would be in sleep mode. However, that light doesn't support it, so it just turned off. So I turned it back to flash. It was kind of bright and annoying. It used to be, since it's dark, I can show you. Yeah, it used to be over there at the foot of my bed. That's where my TV and, you know, the whole, where my computer setup used to be. So, but, well, the aesthetic of the old case, I think, looks maybe a little nicer, unless you count the new one has a front grille for better airflow. And, of course, you know, if I turn it back on, RGB. But the biggest thing I like is how it's just a single little power LED. Go ahead and turn my lights back on. So it's just a single power LED that's flashing. So this one, like, there's a little bit of tape left over from it, but I actually put 2 Post-it notes up there so that it would make the light not as bright and flashy on the underside of my bunk bed and when I'm sleeping. So this won't be in my room permanently. It's going to go upstairs in the studio, and then it shouldn't be a problem. But I like that if I ever need to, I could just put a little round, like one of those little circular price stickers from a yard sale. I could put one of those on there and block out the flashing. So, go ahead and power off my old computer. Turn back the stream on my new computer so I have access to your lovely comments if you leave any. Why is it flashing? I told you to power down, not to but there, well, you get to see the flashing. Anyways, let me just go ahead and unplug it. So, the hard drive that's in here won't stay in here, but I'm gonna try and sell this probably at some point. I don't know, maybe the case. A little bit sentimental. I almost thought about putting this computer inside of this case, but there's no front airflow. I figure that case is gonna have better airflow. So, we'll move this one. Actually, we'll flip it around. Even though I'm not showing the back side of the old one, or the new one, I can show you the back side of the old one. The new one has, the new one is the GTX 1080, 16 gigs of RAM on a single stick. I think this was also, yeah, this was dual channel, so it had 2 4-gig sticks. I upgraded it to 10 gigs, actually, with some RAM that my mom wasn't using, and it magically worked for me, where sometimes I've heard it will not work as great. But the weird thing, too, on my new graphics card, the specific one that I have, I forget which brand it is, but it has, three display ports, 1 HDMI and 1 DVI. Why not balance things out and have 2 HDMI and 2 display ports? Because that also would have made it easier for me to test my old monitor versus my new one, which I'm going to do at some point and see which I like better. But eventually I'll have a newer LED content creation monitor. But, so, yeah. The new computer, actually I need to flip this around. Oh, the new one also, it does have 2, the new motherboard I think is pretty similar to this old one. So there's 2 USB 3 and 4 USB 2. But he also included in the $800 price, because I mentioned it, he got a 4 USB 3 port card on the back there, which it looks similar to one that my mom has in her computer, which hers has having issues. I bought it for her for Christmas. It started having issues, and by the time I found out that it was having issues and not quite working right, and she wasn't really using it, it was past our return on Amazon. So, but we'll take it down to PC Laptops, or I might message the nice guy who built this computer and just ask him if he knows of anything simple, because, yeah, I don't know. But, ooh, hey, 2 watching. I'm not much for fixing computers. I'm pretty good with it. I'm fine spending some time trying to fix my own computer. That way I don't have to wait for someone else to, or pay somebody. But eventually I get to the point where just save my money and pay someone to do it. I don't want to deal with it. But as far as the recovery of stuff that I had on my old hard drives, that's something that I am working on, because I know all the details. I know enough to be able to try and do that at some point. So, the fans in the front of my new computer, they're not addressable, sadly. I would have loved to have just red, but they're not. These are the CP3 fans. Apparently they're good fans. Like, I saw a video by, I think it was Jay's 2 Cents or something, and he was like, are these a Noctua killer? Or whatever brand. I don't know. So they're non-addressable, which is kind of sad, but they were cheap. And I don't blame him for using a cheap but good fan for the system for the $800 price tag. Eventually, well, here's the thing. I saw some red fans online that are just red, and then I saw some fans that are, and then there's fans that are addressable that are more expensive. If I get addressable RGB, I'm gonna just go red. But then, what if in the future I do want something that can be different colors? So, I don't know, but that's a ways off because I don't need new fans right now. Like, that's something that if, once I start my Patreon setup and I start getting funds flowing in, then I will talk about and I might buy with that money. And I'll like, for the first little while, I'm going to be letting people know, like, here's a basic list of things that I'm getting. And I even thought about like how you don't have to pay taxes on physical stuff unless it's very large. Like a car, if you win a car from a game show, you have to pay taxes on that. Or if you, I don't know, there are some expensive things where if they're gifted to you, you do have to pay taxes, but other stuff you don't. That's why you're not paying taxes on, I don't know, the Nintendo Switch you got for Christmas. And that's just a random chord. I was seeing why it was in there. I don't know. That's some old stuff I need to get rid of. But what was I? Oh, yeah. So what the idea that I had was because of that, I thought, what if I open it up where I have like an Amazon wish list or just a wish list in general, and then people can buy me stuff. Problem is, I don't have a PO box. I don't want to pay for one. I would love to have people be able to send me stuff, but PO boxes are expensive. I'm not at a point where I would feel good spending money on a PO box, and like I couldn't afford to buy a PO box right now. And also, a lot of the stuff that I would want wouldn't fit in a PO box. So I don't know how I would do that really. But I mean, maybe there's a way to have stuff that ends up being shipped to me. I just don't want to put like my address there. Maybe there's an online service that lets you have stuff shipped to you without having your address public. I'm not sure. But um so at some point I will be I'll probably just do a post on Patreon when I get that set up. But I'm going to have somewhere I'm going to have a list of the initial stuff that I'm buying to get my studio set up and everything, so people have an idea of what it's going towards, what I'm buying with the money. Hopefully, people won't entirely care because they'll like my content enough to trust that I'm just going to spend the money, and so if I bought something, it wouldn't. I doubt I'd buy anything too egregious. There are some things, though, where they're not entirely necessary for the channel, but they're kind of related to it, like an Odyssey 2 controller. I might just have to buy a new Odyssey 2, because I have not found a replacement controller. But I think that's mostly it. Well, actually, no. So the reason I turned this around, this is this drive right here on this computer. Let me actually pop you out, show you guys up close. So this right here is a Modisc LG Super Multi. I don't really know much about this drive. There's also a weird little... No, that's probably an indicator light right there. I'm not sure. Because above it is the button for eject manually. This is the one that's been on this computer ever since I got it. It's good. I don't know what Modisc means. I don't know why it says Modisc. I looked that up online, couldn't find anything. This one is also an LG Super Multi. So this is one piece where I would swap them around if one of them was better for some reason. But I don't really need super powerful CD drive anyways. I don't use CDs that often. I mean, I do have Pinnacle Studio on CD. I'm going to be switching editing software eventually, but there are some things I have on CD. Or like, do I see it? Oh yeah, I bought a CD today at the, oh yes. I bought a CD today at the library. I only really buy music that I like, or maybe if something sounded really cool and it was a cheap price, which this kind of fit under, I would consider buying. But I usually buy just music that I like. But for $1, I bought Arcade Fire Presents The Suburbs. I've heard some songs from here, but I don't know. So a CD drive will be useful for that as I buy more old CDs. And I need to do a video on my CD collection at some point. But as I buy more old CDs, I will... sorry, I'm tired. I'm thinking I will need a CD drive for copying the CDs over to MP3s. And so that's the one piece that I would swap over. I thought about swapping RAM over, but this is DDR3. That's DDR4. So, but as far as I'm aware, all of the relevant stuff that's in there is in there. I can't take anything from this and put it into that computer and have anything be better or whatever. But yeah, it's a good little machine. I'm a little sad to see this go. Oh, the front panel audio jack issue. This one, I'm pretty sure I accidentally yanked on my headphones while they were plugged into the front. So, like, if you wiggle it, sometimes it will cut out. It's also a little noisy, especially when I have USB plugged into the front. So one thing that I want to do with this computer is have an edited video where I have the headphones plugged in, but then they're plugged into my recording device. And then we listen to different sounds of things being plugged into the front port and see if people can guess what those sounds are. Or what I'm really curious about, though, is, like, can you tell what exactly data is being transferred by the hissy beeps and boops heard on headphones next to a USB port? Probably not, but I'm curious. So this one, the new computer was even worse. It had to be in just the right position, otherwise it wasn't working at all. I opened the case up. I have 2 photos of it. I don't know if we'll put those anywhere. It's not on video. But I opened up the computer case on both sides. I popped off the front panel. It was tough getting the plastic housing with the circuit board out to look at it. Boy. And getting it back in was equally as tough. I'm surprised the guy who installed the front I/O from the factory didn't break it. But it looked like it was pretty dark, some oxidation on there that actually, you know what? Here. This isn't going to look the greatest, but I realized I can just open up the gallery on my phone. So, whoops. Why is the rotation on this wrong? I can't... There's the back side of the... Yeah, the rotation's funny. There's the back side of the board. Oh, no, it's not funny. It's because I did take it this way. So there's the back side of the board. All the solder points look fine. I do have a soldering iron if I needed to resolder anything. And then there's the front side. Wow. You can see how pretty dirty those look and oxidized. I didn't clean them off on the top, although I probably should have. But, and the one that's clean, there was a quality sticker, QC sticker right there. So, what I ended up doing, though, because I was going to do it when I had the thing open, but I forgot, but I messaged the seller first, and then I mentioned I was going to do this, but I cleaned it out with a Q-tip and isopropyl alcohol. That actually worked. You can still wiggle the jack, and it'll sound not so... It will crackly cut out a little bit, or only play out of one ear, but it's a lot better. However, I'm not using that port currently. I would like to, because then I have my speakers on one end and my headphones whenever I plug them in. But realistically, my speaker right now is this cardboard speaker. My monitor has speakers, but they don't sound very good. But so this cardboard speaker here, and then I plug in my headphones whenever I need headphones in the front. That's a nice convenience, but the cardboard speaker is not turned on all the time. I would have to turn it on if I were to then unplug my headphones. And so I'm actually, and right now I also have, my headphones are plugged into this splitter, just because I have an aux cord, and this is the connector between the two. But I could also plug in this speaker, and then I turn it on when I need it to sound, and just unplug my headphones, or turn it off and plug my headphones in when I need. Because the front panel audio on this computer is way noisier than my old computer. The front panel audio was fine if there was nothing plugged into the front. But over here it's picking up just all kinds of noise. I suspect, like, the Wi-Fi adapter used to be plugged in the front, then I moved it to the back with that short USB extender. It's less noisy, but about the same. So I'm not using it. It's just too annoying. and really bad. I don't know if it's the board itself, or maybe it's how it's plugged into the motherboard and it's picking up noise that way. Internal audio does a lot. Ultimately, though, neither of these will entirely matter because I'll eventually have some good speakers with a USB DAC in my studio, and then that'll also have my headphone port. Or I'm even going to be getting a Bluetooth adapter at some point because I love being wireless, and so then I can use my headphones wireless with my computer. But then if I really need to, I can plug in wired. That's a nice advantage of that. So that's pretty much it. Well, actually, last thing, I think this is interesting. That port right there that's not populated is a FireWire port, and there's not a thing on the board. They didn't use it on this specific Cooler Master case, but yeah, that's it for I'll look at the outside of my new computer. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in whatever's next.